What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another electric episode of the Viall Files Reality Recap Edition. I'm your host, Nick, joined by my spectacular, cozy, lovely wife. Very exciting episode for you. Lots to get into. We have the reunion part 2, which will kick things off in a bit here. Wild stuff from the ladies of Salt Lake City. Also, we have the Beckham family drama, which I am very fascinated by. It's really just like the parasocial relationship between the Beckham family and the audience and the expectations we all have. Are we team Brooklyn? Are we team mom and dad? It's family drama to the max. To help us break down the Beckham family drama, we have Carsen Holaday joining us shortly. She is a reporter from The Independent covering breaking and trending news on the culture and lifestyle desk for The Independent, based in New York. So we are excited to have Carsen Holiday's insight to cover the Beckham family drama. Also, we have a very exciting announcement, guys. I know many of you have asked us over the years to do a live show. Netflix Is a Joke event is taking over LA. And on May 6th, we are very, very excited to announce that the Viall Files will be going live at 9:45 p.m. with the next season cast of Temptation Island. Woo! So if you want to have a fun live show with yours truly, my wife, Natalie, and the cast of Temptation Island, pre-sale is already open if you use the code in our episode bio, and the secret code will be there if you want to do a pre-sale. And general sales starts tomorrow, Friday, January 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific. For more details, please go to netflixisajokefest.com and click the link in the episode bio. Super excited. It's going to be a fun, wild time.
I'm pumped.
Hell yeah.
This is my first time learning about this, guys. I'm stoked.
It's awesome.
That's so cool.
I mean, obviously, last Temptation Island was like so fun to cover the reunion. So to just meet the new cast and intro them will be even better.
Yeah, I'll just say Sierra and I were in the room for the last one. So I can only imagine what the room is going to be like for this one.
With a full
Oh
audience.
my gosh.
Well, this will be very interactive. Obviously, this with this a live show. We may or may not do more things with the cast of Temptation Island. We will see how that goes. But if you are looking to have a fun night out with the girls, your partner, yourself, us,
With the guys.
maybe the boys.
The boys.
Bring the boys. Boys.
I hear it's a very, very, very exciting, messy, great season. Our showrunner for Age of Attraction, David Freeman, the very talented producer that he is also the showrunner of Temptation Island. So we get the inside scoop. And we are very, very excited to see this season unfold. Also, this episode, we have Reza from the show Valley Persian Style. Very excited to have Reza on our couch. I've become a Reza super fan. I just find him delightful and wonderful and wise.
Yeah.
Very excited to have Reza sit down with us to talk about all things the Valley Persian Style. So lots of jam-packed stuff to get into. Do not forget that if you have not listened to the Angie K episode that we dropped yesterday, the Going Deeper episode, it was an awesome interview. She's great. She's awesome. She's so fun. Lots of insight on Angie, her cast, her thoughts and feelings about the show. Definitely take the time to listen to that if you haven't already. And one more thing, Viall Files Plus is now ad-free. So if you want to listen to all your favorite Viall Files episodes ad-free, it is now available on Viall Files Plus. Just go to viallfiles.com to do so. Check out all our great content, which includes all your favorite updates from your Ask Nick episodes, our deep dives into all your favorite reality TV shows that we cover. So we really get into the weeds on shows like Salt Lake City, Potomac, the Valley Persian Style, Traders. So if you're looking to pull back even more layers, be sure to check out Viall Files Plus. You will be glad that you did. All right, reunion part 2. It really kicked things off with a bang. I mean, the Angie accusation towards Lisa, I just thought was,
Juicy.
We got receipts, proof, timelines, and it was just a really, I just don't think people realize how dark it is to create. What was that show on Netflix? Unknown Number, right? That documentary about the mom who was basically trolling her own daughter and bullying her in the text messages and the rest of her friends and family. And we were all watching that and we were like, that is so dark and so evil to do that to anyone, let alone your own daughter. But like the reality is that this sheds a light on something that I think very few people in this reality TV space or like influencer space talk about, which is there are people currently on TV who have done this to their peers, and it's via text. But how easy it is to go online, whether it's X or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and I think these platforms are starting to come up with security measures to eliminate that, but to create fake accounts, right, under an alias, under a pseudonym, and then attack your peers and co-stars, spread rumors, jump on hate campaigns, incite hate campaigns, retweet stuff, reshare things. It could be your friend doing it. It could be in this case, your co-star who is like, this accusation, and it seems fairly concrete that it was Lisa.
Well, it was like kind of frustrating that we didn't get to the bottom of it. Like no one could stop screaming to the point where, Lisa was like, yeah, that is my phone number. But like, what? She just thinks that like they made it up or photoshopped it. Like
I couldn't understand what her explanation was because she tried to say that they put her number in and like that's why we saw the screenshot that we saw. But like,
yeah,
I just don't believe her.
Yeah.
Like I really don't.
I think it's more believable that you made a fake account.
Lisa also was the one that caught Angie H and her
Yeah.
Finsta
And her
account. So I'm like, Lisa
husband.
knows how to find out who created an account.
She knows the Finsta world. She
Yeah.
knows.
She
the-
has
yeah.
what is it? The internet security analysis
Oh,
people. Like, why
cybersecurity.
don't you have cybersecurity?
Oh yeah,
Can we refute this pretty easily?
yeah. Wasn't that the whole thing with Whitney? Was the cybersecurity?
I mean, who knows? Susie, how many people, if you had to get a percentage, whether it's Bachelor Nation people or just people on reality TV, do you
Yeah.
think have done something? And I don't mean like there was the Maddie Pruitt back in the day where she was
Yeah.
kind of like
That
singing
came to
her
mind.
own praises, which, I think you say what you want, but that's not what I'm talking about. Or
Yeah.
maybe people defending themselves. I'm talking about people who go on the attack, who go after their friends and peers
Yeah.
under a fake alias and pseudonym and jump on again hate campaigns and do this type of thing. How common do you think it is?
It's hard to say. I don't know of anyone personally that does it. I would say only a true villain would. And I'm a believer that we're all villains, but I think this is something very strange where I'm like, only a truly dark person would create an alias and actively be on it. Justin made a good point earlier. He said, you can lurk, but you can't engage. And I'm like, it's so true. Like, of course I have a Finsta. Of course I like look at stuff, but I'm not even liking
Mm-hmm.
posts or comments or anything. But of course I want to like creep and see what's going on. But I would say the people who do this are the people that are like actually villains on TV. Like who else would do it? Also, like you gotta be kind of aware that in this day and age, you're gonna be caught. So it's kind of, I hate to say this, but I'm like, it's kind of giving like boomer energy. I'm like, it's gonna get traced back to you.
I think more and more you realize you can be caught, but I don't think it's that easy to catch now. I think you have to spend money and hire people and be willing to investigate.
no, but
it.
the way that Angie found out her number is like
Yeah.
rule number
Yeah.
one of like, who is this person? It's either linked to someone's email account or someone's phone number.
But how did she
So when
figure it out?
You type in the username when you like go to log into Instagram. You type in
Okay.
the username. So she had this. What was her name? Candace Story or something.
Candace story.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
She had her username, so she
Okay.
typed that in. Then she put, "Oh, I forgot my password." So it says, "Oh, I'll send you a link to recover your password to this phone number
Oh,
that's
smart.
linked to your account."
yeah.
So her email.
So it was Lisa Barlow's phone number that was under the account.
Yeah.
Oh my
And then
God.
Whitney saw the notification pop up on Lisa's phone, right?
Clever on Angie, sloppy on Lisa.
I do know of somebody in the reality TV world that blocked a troll and then it in turn blocked somebody that they knew from reality TV because it'll block
because
other
it'll block
accounts.
all the
You say block all the accounts involved with this. account.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's not that hard to get caught. You have to be super careful.
But then to have the fake account and then also the unseen footage of her trying to get Jared to throw Todd and Bronwyn under the bus at that party and Jared's like, "No, like I'm not sorry, like I'm not your guy. Me and Bronwyn are in a good place. I'm not going to do that." And she's like adamantly trying to get him to talk about it is just so like, A, do they show that footage to them sitting there? I feel like they don't. I feel like it takes them a while to find that footage.
I feel like they show them the packages, but they don't show them the unseen footage like that because then we would have a
Oh
conversation
no,
about it.
I think in those situations, Cass is watching it for the first time on
Yeah.
the couch.
Oh,
100%.
you think they do get shown it?
But then why wouldn't we have like, because like, if I saw
Yeah.
something of like Lisa, like that's when Bronwyn should have been like, see, this is exactly what you do. You just sat here and said that I don't do this, or that what's his face? Jared was foaming at the mouth to tell people, and here you are begging him to tell people.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think that they bring it up, and then editors, once they're editing, go back and find the
might be-
footage
yeah,
to put in.
That's kind of
That
what
might be
I
true.
always
I-
assumed.
I mean, I only know from the one, you
'Cause
know,
we
when I
saw-
hosted Mormon Wives, they played clips
Well,
that
when they
many
show
of the
us
women
the-
saw for the first time while we were recording the
The
reunion.
packages, yeah. So
Yeah, they
Sierra
have
got
these
pack-
pre-made packages, and they would show.
But
and
I
then
guess they don't
to-
know what's going to be brought up. You know, like they didn't know that Lisa was going to bring up Jared foaming at the mouth to bring that up. And
No,
so,
that
like, how
part,
could they
you know,
have
again,
it
like,
on?
you know, the reunions can go a million different directions, but, you know, the prep that, you know, again, that we did for Mormon Wives, I assume Andy is doing a lot of prep, has a team. They have a run of show. Andy's a professional, so I'm sure he's obviously very good at going where the conversation goes, but you know, they are driving the conversations, and they have a way to make sure things get brought up. I mean, honestly, that's why you have a host, to make sure you are kind of driving the conversation. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've never been on set of a reunion for Bravo, so they may do that. They may just talk about it and insert those packages afterwards. But usually, you get
'Cause
the
you'd
best
think
reaction.
You'd see their reaction shot at the bottom,
Maybe,
and they
yeah.
don't show those for unseen
Mm.
footage.
That's
you
a
know.
good point, but yeah, that's, I guess, an interesting question. I'd be curious how they do that. Did any of you guys notice Lisa's body language when Mary was calling her out versus Lisa's body language when she's fighting with any of the other women?
No.
No, what was
And
it?
she's like a statue.
She's
Statue.
like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, I mean,
Statuesque.
you know, when it was Bronwyn or anyone else or Heather, like Lisa's just, you know, she's very, like, her body language, she's big, she's pointing fingers, she's loud. When Mary was talking at Lisa and criticizing her, Lisa was sitting like looking straight like this. It was so fascinating because it was like, what is it about Mary's critique and coming for that, like, first of all, silences Lisa, which is shocking. And then have
Mhm.
Lisa just kind of,
Someone asked her why she was blinking so much, and she was like, "I have dry eyes."
you know, she was just sitting there like this.
I read it a different way because to me it was like all of the women were ganging up on her for so long, and then Mary was the final blow,
she wasn't expecting
Lisa
it.
finally was like, you know what? There's nothing I can say. I'm gonna just sit here.
I think it
Like-
also has something to do with the
Interesting.
fact that Lisa respects Mary and wants Mary to like her.
Yeah.
And with the
Mhm.
rest
I
of the
took it as
women
that.
outside of Meredith, she doesn't give a fuck.
I
She
think
thinks she's better. She thinks she's better than all of the women except for Meredith and Mary.
Wow.
Is
She-
how I feel
And
about
she
it.
also said, like, this is coming out of nowhere. Like, where is this? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like she was genuinely
She was like, I
stunned
thought we were
and shocked.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think there's a level of the rest of the women are always wondering, like, whose team are you on? Like, you know, if Heather's coming for you, it's like, oh, you're just Team Whitney, and maybe you're like, whether it's true or not, I could see Lisa kind of internalizing this narrative, where Mary always kind of comes as like this objective voice. Like, I don't take sides. I just
Mhm.
call it like I see it. You know,
Yeah.
when they were fighting and you heard Lisa say, we're definitely not defending Brittany. You know, it's like she wanted to be, she's like, I have this opinion about this situation, but my motivation isn't to defend Brittany. It's just to like speak truth, you know? And I feel like, yeah, that's how all the women see Mary, is this like this objective person who just, you know, isn't taking sides, and she's not saying it because she promised Heather she would have her back and things like that.
I kind of have a hot take on the whole like Mary, like Lisa of it all, but I was just kind of like, I don't know. I think I'm kind of sick of like watching people criticize other people for how they are, who they are, and then try to tell them how they should be in order for me to like you. I'm just like, if you don't fuck with Lisa, don't fuck with Lisa. But I just kind of feel like everybody's just shitting on her on a constant, and it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
I
like
get
if
what
you
you're
don't
saying.
like her, then don't fuck with her. But like, don't tell her how to be or how she needs to change in order for her to be lighter person or like good in your eyes.
Yeah, because Lisa Barlow is exactly who Lisa Barlow is. She is not going to change whatsoever. So first off, you're barking up a dead tree. Is that the phrase?
No, but barking up the wrong tree.
But we
Barking
like
up
it.
a wrong tree.
It could be dead.
Alright.
The wrong
It
tree
could be
could be
dead.
dead.
You know,
dead wrong tree.
yeah, there's nothing you can do about it at this point, is what I'm trying to say with Lisa Barlow. And then, yeah, it's just like,
Bringing up the whole
It's
Meredith
one thing
hot
to-
mic.
exactly, it's one thing to have things that you think Lisa can do better in current conflict, but it's another thing to be like, well, I can't believe you guys are still friends because you called her a whore that one
Yeah.
time, which, to be fair, is one of the most insane things that's ever happened. And I don't know if I could be friends again with someone who did that to me, but they are, and that's their thing. And
Mhm.
it's kind of not your.
It just feels like you're constantly bringing shit up to be like, remember, you
Business.
should hate Lisa. Where
Yeah.
it's just like, why?
Well, do you think that Mary maybe really wants. I think Mary's biggest issue with Meredith is her friendship with Lisa
Mm.
and the, lawyering and not talking about things. And I think she would be like, in her head, she's like, "Ugh, I wish I could just be friends with Meredith without Lisa. So she's trying to remind Meredith of all the bad things Lisa's done to her.
I mean, that's a take, but I'm just like, again, where I'm like,
Maybe.
we're grown women, which has been repeated on that stage over and over again. You should be able to have a relationship with somebody and not give a fuck who they're friends with. In
Mhm.
that sense, if you're going to still be friends with this entire group of people.
Yeah.
Especially filming with.
I've grown to obviously like Lisa more since I met her in person, and she was lovely. And I find myself wanting to give her the benefit of the doubt. I hope by some miracle it isn't true what Angie alleged.
If it is
And
eating,
I will
I'm sorry.
say, as when
Do
I
it.
was like logging into like Instagram accounts and whatnot for like here, I'm like, they would give me like j*** at gmail.com or like the last 4 digits. And I'm not saying that absolves her at all, but I'm like, if
Redacted.
it's giving the full
Yeah.
phone number, I do have a little eyebrow raised to that.
But it's also like, if it is her, look what y'all did to Monica.
Yeah.
So
What do you mean?
reality
I don't-
Von T's
I don't understand.
I
Lisa having a
understand.
fake account to bully women. That's literally what Monica did.
Also, since season
No,
one,
I get
Insta
that.
accounts-
Yeah.
So it's wrong. It's definitely wrong to do. Like,
Yeah,
what do you
but
mean
it's like
if she
if Lisa did it, the women are kind of like they're at least on the show. Andy too is kind of letting it just like go.
And Heather was like, we've known for years that you've done this. And I'm like, so then why do you want to be friends with this woman?
Yeah.
Because you literally hate Monica for doing the exact same thing.
I think the difference is they just don't fuck with Monica. I think that's just what it is.
Yeah, I thought Angie was very gracious in her, like, I forgive you. But the question is, and we've brought this up several times, it's like, what's the difference between that and Monica? It's literally the same thing.
And like, why does Lisa get a pass or like us be all aware of it for a couple of years? And yet when Monica does it, she can't be filmed with or be back on the show.
Yeah.
Just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps it interesting. I will say
You
that.
know what I mean? Like who
Yeah.
gets passes, who gets second chances.
Well, and then Heather's drama of like, we're no longer friends from this moment on, and your future is going to be dark
That
or
was-
whatever it is.
What did she say? Like, watch your
Yeah.
back, Lisa. It's not going to be fun for
Something
you.
like that, yeah.
I
No, it was like
confirmed
a
it
was a-
legit threat.
A
Like,
threat, yeah.
She said, buckle up, Meredith. It's not going to be a fun ride.
Yeah, it was.
I'm sorry. Who are you?
I will say Heather kind of
Aggressive.
had Meredith gagged for a second there. Meredith, she got back in her Meredith mode, but there was a second when Heather was like, "All right, fuck you, Meredith," and Meredith was just like,
Well, because Meredith got under her skin with the screeching, and I was like, I feel like people
Yeah.
have said Mary has called you said that you looked incest or
inbred.
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 That I'm like, and you're over here mad because she said you were screeching at her for 2
But
hours.
again, Mary's Mary, Meredith is Meredith.
Exactly.
Screeching's a
know.
crazy word. Can we just give that a moment? Like, that's like insufferable is one thing, but screeching.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about like Meredith saying Heather is screeching, and it's like Meredith has literally, you look at her the wrong way, and she's like, "You're a vile, disgusting person." So it's like, girl, it's not that deep. But
I thought Meredith, I will say, I thought Meredith raised a couple of good questions
You did.
when she was just like, if I did what you guys are saying I did, then why did you all let it happen? Why didn't anyone speak
Oh.
up? And like, and then they were kind of like, well, I kind of did then and I kind of did that. But like, again, they described this thing that went on for hours and
5 hours from the
You
second
know,
that the
and it's
plane
like
took
you-
off.
Was Brittany describing like the plane crashing?
Yeah.
She was talking.
Turbulence.
She was talking about the descent, right, and saying that everything was a ruckus right then, which I also thought was a giant red flag because according to Heather and Whitney, this was going on to the point to where they fell asleep, woke up, and Meredith was still berating her. And then Brittany was like, oh, this is why no one switched seats with me because all of this happened when we were starting to descent.
Yeah, which that makes sense to me because
I don't
every
know.
plane I've been on, it's it's like almost like clockwork. 30 minutes, plane
Yep.
starts to decline, right?
Yeah.
And then and Brittany was like, we were in a nosedive. Like,
Yeah. And it's like,
oh, really?
I think-
No one's
I think-
talked about the potential crash that you all experienced.
I know.
That's
Yeah.
traumatic. Like, oh my God,
My-
a nosedive?
I was
It
like,
is-
maybe Meredith pulled your hair because she was so scared standing up trying
Oh
to
my
figure
God.
out what was going on with this plane.
My favorite part was when Meredith was like, and production was sitting right behind me. So why didn't they do anything? And Andy goes, because they were in a different class of service than
Yeah.
and I was like, I know that's right, putting production in coach.
And then Brittany, for maybe Freudian slip, maybe admittance, but she said when they were like, why didn't you pull out your phone? Brittany was the first one to be like, yeah, because like because the last time when I recorded Meredith and I was like, and she goes, or recorded everyone.
Well, actually, that explanation makes a lot of sense when they
It
were
does,
talking
but
about
she
said
why it
Meredith.
wasn't
It does.
filmed.
She said she recorded Meredith.
No, but she specifically slipped up after that whole thing got
It
called
said
out
recording
and was
Meredith.
like, because I remember what happened to me last time when I recorded Meredith.
Yeah,
and then
we
she's
all
like,
know she. I mean, yeah,
did it on
right.
purpose.
Of
Yeah.
course she.
Yeah.
I
We
just
all
like the
know she
confessions.
recorded it back then.
We love
you
it.
know.
I still don't think she did.
Admission
I love a
Fields.
slip up. She slipped up.
Yeah.
I think she was doing other things, but we don't have to rehash it.
I don't know.
Regardless, I think their explanation in terms of when they discussed why this wasn't recorded is because these women clearly have an understanding that we don't record each other.
Right.
That's Bravo records us. We're on a TV show. We're not here to gotcha each other. You know, we agreed to film. And when we're not filming, we're not filming, you know? So, and then back to the whether Brittany did it or not, Meredith's reaction to a potential filming was so intense that of course you don't do that. But again, I think Meredith brought up a really good point is why didn't anyone put a stop?
Also on the note of recording, I thought it was interesting that like Heather was talking about Whitney and saying that like Whitney was like, my biggest regret was not recording. And she was like, what type of horrible person would we be to pull out our phones and record? And then a fan fucking got her with like, well, you recorded in the bathroom when Lisa Barlow lost her
Yeah.
phone and they had no problem pulling up that footage. And it's like, it's true. Like
That's a different.
but I'm saying you couldn't pull out your phone and record yourself and be like, I'm crazy or anything. Like, I'm just like this for 5 hours. Like, I would be pulling it out just to record you, just to be like, this is what you look like. You need to know that this is absolutely insane behavior.
I can see where they were like, it was so bad that like the thought of pulling out my phone, you know, it's like when like someone gets hurt around you, like your first instinct isn't like, oh, let me document this to like share later. It's like, oh my God, you know, is this person okay? What's going on? Let me listen. Let me like understand the scenario. You're just like
Yeah.
invested in what's going on.
To me, it makes a total sense why none of these women filmed it. Clearly, lots to unpack when it comes to the reunion, and we will dive even deeper on Deep Dive. Find that on Viall Files Plus. Well, we are about to get into the Beckham family drama, but before we do, just a quick update on the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively case. We're seeing more and more information coming out as this trial, this pre-trial, I don't know what you call it, kind of gets underway. And certainly there's a lot of text messages being released, and you have kind of the Justin Baldoni online army. But I thought what was one of the most telling parts about this case is Jenny Slate, who, for those of you who don't know, was co-starring on this film with both Justin and Blake. And there was, again, a lot of conversations about why aren't people coming forward? Why is Blake the only one speaking out? Well, Jenny had some very damning things to say about her co-star, Justin Baldoni.
Well, in newly unsealed text messages released from Jenny Slate's phone, it says she wrote, Justin is truly a false ally, and I'm unwilling to do anything that promotes the image that he's crafting as a male feminist. He's the biggest clown and the most intense narcissist. Slate added that filming It Ends With Us has been really gross and disturbing shoot, and I'm one of many who feel this way.
I mean, I think that's, again, pretty damning from another woman on set talking about how she felt about this. And I just want to remind people, this case isn't just about sexual harassment. It's about retaliation, which I think is, again, the biggest part of the story that people want to forget. And they want to basically pick apart, and discuss, oh, well, is saying this all that inappropriate? Like, what's the big deal and things like that? But again, this comes to these women were made to feel uncomfortable, allegedly. He engaged in this kind of online, again, bullying, assault, influencing conversations online as a way to retaliate against these alleged people he made to feel uncomfortable in order to protect his alleged image. I think, if you're reluctant to believe Blake, I mean, you're seeing more women coming forward to validate her story, and I think that says a lot.
Juicy stuff.
I mean, I definitely will be tuning in to the trial.
Are they broadcasting it?
When is that?
I don't know. It would certainly be highly covered.
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be March, and now it got moved to May,
I think
right?
it got delayed or something. I don't
Okay.
know. All right. Well, up next, it's time to break down all things Beckham family drama. It's a fascinating story. I mean, it's sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad that this happens, but it's a really interesting conversation about like the relationship us fans have, with public figures, and are we entitled to, everything that is their lives. There's a lot of conversations about how the Beckhams have chose to commoditize and monetize their entire family. And therefore, does that mean that they have to share everything? And then they have their son, Brooklyn, who like goes on his Instagram stories and just like eviscerates his parents. We have Carsen Holaday from The Independent to help us break down this story and have a really great discussion around it, and that is next. As you guys know, we're really focused on our health right now, and that includes making sure our dogs, Jeff and Steve, are feeling their best too. Jeff and Steve were constantly itching, and we learned that this isn't normal dog behavior. It's actually a sign of allergies. Just like humans, dogs need probiotics to strengthen their gut health and calm an overactive immune system. That's why we use Better Wild Allergy Relief Soft Chews, a supplement designed to support your pet's allergies defenses by strengthening digestion. They're the first and only chew with Ancestral Advantage Wolf probiotics inspired by your dog's mighty ancestor, the wolf, to help restore a healthy balance of good bacteria in the gut. A premium blend of probiotics called the Ancestral Advantage, designed to rewild your dog's gut. It also includes L-Sakii, a postbiotic derived from kimchi that's clinically proven to reduce itchiness and redness in just 2 months with daily use. It also has colostrum to boost immune function and fight inflammation, also salmon oil to support healthy skin and fur. Watching Jeff and Steve struggle with allergies was rough, but adding Better Wild Allergy Relief Soft Chews has been a game changer. Fewer symptoms, happy pups, and peace of mind for us. Better Wild is committed to helping your dog with science-backed, veterinarian-approved solutions that you can feel great about. Right now, Better Wild is offering our listeners up to 40% off your order at betterwild.com/VIALL. That's betterwild.com/VIALL for up to 40% off your order. betterwild.com/VIALL. We give up comfort every day. Don't let style be another reason. Mack Weldon's Ace collection makes it effortless to look put together while feeling truly comfortable. Their new Ace line, inspired by their best-selling sweatpants, combines everyday comfort with long-lasting and confident looks. Upgrade your collection for the new year with new bomber jackets, half-zips, sweats, crew necks, and more at MackWeldon.com. And get 20% off your first order of $125 or more with code VIALL. Mack Weldon's Ace collection is truly awesome. Ladies, I'm sure you're always looking to reasons to upgrade your men's closet. And men, if you're listening, go to Mack Weldon. It's incredibly comfortable, stylish, it looks good. If you don't want to put too much thought into your wardrobe, but still look good and stay comfortable, look no further than Mack Weldon's Ace collection. Their crew neck sweatshirt has a micro-brushed French terry. It has an insanely soft feel and stretch rib side panels for a great fit. Crazy comfortable, but also elevated sweatpants, shorts, sweatshirts, and even blazers. If you're lucky enough to grab one while they're still in stock, you will be glad that you did. Mack Weldon clothes are designed to fit your style and the demands of the modern life. Not flashy, just classic, always in style, and made from the world's most comfortable premium materials. Mack Weldon's Ace collection, comfortable anywhere. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 20% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code VIALL. That's MackWeldon.com, code VIALL. Carsen Holaday, welcome to the Viall Files. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
We're really excited to have you and to have your expertise to break this all down. I'm very fascinated by this story. Here you have this incredibly famous couple that, some could argue we're kind of like patient zero so much when it comes to like truly being influential family, right? Like you have David Beckham, one of the biggest soccer players in the world at his heyday. Victoria, one of the biggest pop stars. They get together, they get married. And from that moment forward, they kind of chose to be very kind of public about their relationship. And Brooklyn's birth was highly covered and things like that. And now we're having a lot of conversations around that dynamic. And I feel like a lot of the criticism, especially towards the parents, is this kind of dynamic that they've cultivated over the years of highly curating their public perception, which I find very fascinating because it seems to be a lot of fans in conversations about, just kind of criticizing that in general, which I find really interesting, whether it's right or wrong, because I'm thinking, why wouldn't you want it to look good? Why wouldn't you want it to why wouldn't you want your family to be seen in a positive light? But that seems to be getting criticized now. But anyways, fascinating discussion. I am just curious from your point of view, as someone who reports on this, who covers this family, who is actually a journalist, how do you see this story and the relationship this family has with its audience?
I mean, it's so interesting because if you look on social media, the reactions from the younger generations, kids are really taking Brooklyn's side and they're like, it's kind of like the mommy influencer effect. They say every kid has a right to privacy and like people shouldn't be oversharing about their families on the internet until at least kids are old enough to make that decision for themselves. I mean, the Beckhams are like super famous for that, especially because they sold Brooklyn Beckham's baby pictures when he was little to OK Mag, I'm pretty sure. So they've just been super public, obviously, for all of their 4 kids' entire lives. So now Brooklyn is coming out and saying, like they've made me a brand that I didn't ask to be a part of. But then you see, on the other hand, the older generation, I mean, like even just like millennials and up, they seem to be siding with David and Victoria Beckham and saying that Brooklyn and Nicola are privileged and he's just a Nepo baby who fled to the US. And so I honestly feel like it's 50-50. It's honestly super divisive, at least online.
And another like a fascinating element to this story is like you have the Beckhams who are rich and powerful and well known. And of all the people that Brooklyn could have married, he married into a family that are far wealthier than the Beckhams. They're billionaires. They have this old money. She's only known just this immense wealth and privilege. And immediately it's like he married into a family who has no reason to care and almost in a way be like there's so much ego in this story. And when you hear the stories about the wedding, I'm curious for the household and like when you guys heard this story, did you find yourself siding more with Brooklyn or more like when he posted Instagram story? To me, it was like, you guys ever like get in a fight with like a family member or a sibling or a parent, whatever, and you get this long ass text of their version of what you were a part of, and you're like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, what? That's how you remember this? Like, I'm reading it as this like, I wonder if David and Victoria, when they got told about this Instagram story, were like, the way he described his mother's inappropriate dancing, like, I wonder if she was like, huh? Like that? Like, because now you're hearing reports of like, she was like, had her head buried. Like, I don't know, when I danced with my mom at the wedding, it was emotional. And like, it was my mom. There was a closeness there. And I'm just wondering, like, where are all the accounts of like, the way it's written is if like Victoria came out and started grinding on Brooklyn, like that's how it reads.
Like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it kind of feels like the actual tension over the years has been between the stories between Nicola and Victoria, as if there's something going on there in Brooklyn somewhere in the middle. And it's like, that's my wife, but it's also his mother. And so when you're seeing these clips resurface where it's like Nicola looking uncomfortable taking a group photo with them, or you see like Victoria dancing at the wedding, and it's just kind of like, I wonder if that, as a matter of egos, if it was more so just like Brooklyn is the middle piece and it's like, no, he's mine. Maybe like that there's a little bit of tug of war. But
boy mom.
Yeah, boy mom versus like my husband, which,
I think Victoria's probably hell to deal with. She's a diva. And honestly, we know what we're getting. We know what we're getting with her. And if you want to be a part of the family, then you're going to have to make an effort and you're going to have to bend at the knee because it's Victoria Beckham.
Well, that's the
But
thing,
at
though.
the
But then,
same-
like, you got Nicola, who's again like the heiress of this powerful
diva.
family.
It's two divas, and
Yeah.
who's going to out diva the other? and that's
Diva
kind of,
off.
I think
Diva
that's what's
off.
happening. And at the end of the day, like if Brooklyn wants to separate from the family, I'm like, okay, fair, but that comes with a lot. You're also like losing out on the family dynamic, which maybe he's okay with that. I also saw a video, I think, of her dancing with her dad at her wedding, I think.
Mhm.
And she's just a spicy dancer. She likes to move the hips. You know what I mean? Like, and
She's a Spice Girl.
she's a spice girl. What do you expect? Like, I don't know. And I say that knowing that if that footage gets leaked or if it was truly inappropriate, then like fair.
Mhm.
But I think she's just a little bit spicy.
I agree with you. I think it's two women where Victoria hasn't been told no in decades.
No.
And Nicola's probably never been told no her entire life.
Also, for those of you who've planned weddings, like, does it not bring out the worst in everyone you know? Like, it sounds like a lot of the drama's around the wedding.
Yeah.
Like, it's like mother-in-law drama, and you deal with the wedding drama, and then you move on.
Also, the element that I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, Carsen, it feels like a lot of the drama is centered around like this obligation of having to show up for all the family events. Like Brooklyn was like dragged to all these events, and it's like, okay, but is that bad? If you know, like as Natalie and I, we have our young daughter, and we hope to raise our family to be close, whether they end up being close or not, or have each other's backs. And I think, yeah, I hope that as we get older, all of our families are supporting each other. And this is also coming from the perspective of Brooklyn, who, you know, there's this video floating around of him driving this like $1.2 million car as an early 20-year-old with like a $250,000 watch. And he's like doing this bit with this influential creator who's like, he walks up to people, he's like, oh, cool car, what do you do? And he like self-identifies as a chef, you know? And this is right after and I don't know if this was before or after he was a photographer, where it's like, this is a guy who like one day woke up and said, I want to cook. And he had some very powerful and very influential people showing up and supporting and calling him a photographer, where other people in the space have to like years of like, you know, doing the work. And you guys know I'm usually pro Nepo baby, because like I know a lot of people in this space who are like children of very famous people, but they're very talented and they work hard, and they do have to overcome the stereotypes that it seems like Brooklyn is perpetuating as like someone who can just be like, I want to be a chef. And then you see a video of him like using a flamethrower on toast that's already toasted. You know, and you're just like, huh? Carsen, I'm just curious, like, again, with the people in your space, like, how do you see it, Carsen?
I agree with you. Like, I feel like I'm normally pro Nepo baby, but they have to like do something to like get past the door. Like, you already have your place in the door, but you have to get past that. And the fact that, you know, after that amazing photography book came out, that he was like invited to like intern at a photography studio, like he does have a lot of opportunities that are just like undeniably because of his parents. And I think he maybe recognizes that. And I think like him and Nicola probably brought up the wedding. Like, I think that all of the other facts in the statement are kind of like, okay, deal with it. Like, family obligations are important and that's what makes a family. But the wedding stuff is, you cannot argue with that. Like, that is inappropriate. And you kind of just don't mess with someone on their wedding day. The dance thing.
I would agree with that.
I mean, it was the Mark Anthony of it all. Like, I remember hearing that rumor whenever they got married. And so, like, yeah, the fact that, I mean, there is some truth to that.
Carsen, I'm curious what you know about this, but online, I'm seeing a lot of people comparing, you know, Brooklyn's accusations with like a Vogue article that covered the wedding.
Yeah.
And from your perspective, how are people seeing the Vogue article? Is that like a proof of what happened? Or is that, again, like a highly curated story from the Beckhams about the wedding?
Yeah, it like directly goes against what Brooklyn said in his statement. He said that Nicola had wanted a dress from Victoria, like a dress to be designed, and then Victoria dropped it at the 11th hour. But in the Vogue article, you have Nicola's stylist saying that they've planned this dress with Valentino for a year, and there have been like multiple
years.
fittings.
It said years multiple.
Yeah. So it's like, and when they asked her like, what did you think of Valentino designing your dress? She said there was no question from the beginning that it was going to be Valentino. So I'm confused on why he threw that in with, the seating chart one. No one can really back that up. The dance one, I mean, there are hundreds of witnesses. I really wish someone would come forward and say whether or not that happened. There was one guy who deleted his Instagram comment, Fat Tony's boyfriend. DJ Fat Tony. Boyfriend said, I was there, I saw it happen, but he since deleted his comment, which makes me think that obviously they're on top of this. Press.
What about all of the like name changing? They wanted him to sign the rights away to his name.
Yeah, what was that about?
I mean, obviously he changed his name and kind of made like a really big deal about it and was like, look how progressive I am. It's Brooklyn Peltz Beckham now. But at the time, it really just seemed like he was doing that to match his wife. And now he's saying they wanted him to sign away his name, which you changed it anyways. So I'm a little confused about where he's going.
I heard something, don't know if it's true. I read or heard something that like when all their kids were born, that Victoria like filed to like own their IP. I guess maybe because like so other people wouldn't. I took that as more of like a protective parent rather than like trying to steal from her kid that they gave everything to, so it's just like, what it's like
that part.
Yeah. Also in Brooklyn's statement, did they ask for privacy?
Yeah. That was the last line.
Okay.
Which is like build all their
but you put it on Instagram stories. Like couldn't they just have said nothing? Couldn't they have just been like, listen, we have all the money we could ever want. We're just going to live a quiet life. We're going to do our own thing. I'm not fucking with my parents right now, but you know what? I'm not going to throw them under. I mean, to go on Instagram stories and say all that specific and just it's wild stuff.
Listen, I might be playing devil's advocate here too, but I kind of feel like the wife was also Nicola's getting a lot of the heat. And I just kind of wonder if like she said to Brooklyn that you need to make a statement, because I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm like, you tell me otherwise. But I feel like most men don't really know what's going on their wedding day. But I'm like, I feel like it's a bride's like responsibility to like almost like have every moment bullet pointed. And it just kind of felt like this many years later to be bringing up solely the wedding as like the main reason of this fallout. It just kind of feels like maybe he was told that if you want to protect me, then you need to say something. That's how I feel about it.
I mean, I feel like if he when you're about to do your first dance with your wife, and then when your mom steps in instead, I feel like there would be a little bit of like confusion.
But also, I saw it was a photo of Brooklyn and Nicola like having their first dance.
Nicola and Brooklyn's first dance was to Can't Help Falling in Love with You. But then his first dance with his mom was to Mark Anthony song that he was singing. And also, just to add this in, because I think this is like the most egregious part to me, is that apparently Mark Anthony said, and now like would the most beautiful woman in the room come up here, Victoria Beckham, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
bad.
crazy. Yeah.
That's bad.
Here's the thing. I do maybe think there's part of me that is like, all of this could be true, and I might still have the same opinion, which is like, it's Victoria Beckham.
On your wedding day, though, is crazy.
It is truly
That's
crazy.
the most Victoria Beckham thing in the world.
And
I
think my thought on it is like, I'm not shocked if any of this is true, and I think it's potentially really horrible, and it would be like so annoying and maybe even devastating to have your wedding day be that. But then I kind of think, okay, just pivot. I don't think you have to like post on your Instagram, and also like maybe immediately, like if that happens on your wedding day, okay, cool. We're actually going to just remove ourselves. And if they claim to want this like private life, which I feel like that's the sense I'm getting, then like why 3 years later bring all this up? I would just like cut the ties and like.
I don't get the private life in the Instagram story. It's like that makes my brain break. Like, which one is it? Do you want to fight this feud online and have the entire world discuss it? Like the Beckhams were not in our mouth on Tuesday, and now it's like the only thing people can talk about.
But I will say, and Carsen, there's a lot every single day. There is some sort of news about the Beckhams and like family drama regarding Nicola or all of the kids, or like I feel like every day I'm reading something new, and I took it as Brooklyn being like, my parents are putting this stuff in the press. I'm sick and tired of it. Here's my version.
Honestly, it has just been like mostly speculation because like they were posting together and acting super normal. This kind of all just really started to like raise eyebrows at their vow renewal in August when none of the Beckhams were there. And then obviously he blocked them all in December and fans noticed that, which is so interesting. But again, like he didn't really have to say anything. And another thing is that most of the rumors that have been started are mostly like by people and they're like, oh, a source. But it's all the stories that now Brooklyn is confirming are true. And so I kind of believe that it was Brooklyn trying to tell his story, but still keep everything okay with his family. But now everything has just gone insane.
What did you think of
Like Lisa Barlow.
David's response?
Yeah.
It's crazy because like on CNBC maybe on Tuesday when he said, you know, children make bad decisions on Instagram, like that feels very pointed. It feels like the timing of that is not to be ignored. Obviously, like Queen Victoria calls the shots. And so I think if she's like, we are not going to respond to already, they're not going to respond. So that was the best David could do in that moment.
Like kids make mistakes.
I'm curious, Carsen, from your perspective, someone who like you're a journalist, right? Like we have this show and we're very open about like we talk about these stories, but we're entertainers, right? We don't pretend to have your qualifications. But from your perspective, like how do you see it when you cover, you know, the Beckhams and these very famous people who often are very giving of their lives, right? Beckhams, I feel like they're being criticized right now for curating their quote unquote brand. And as opposed to like from a journalistic standpoint, you know, you want the authentic, real, you know, you want the story, not the curated story. But I guess how do you see it and how do your peers in that space like decide to cover people like the Beckhams?
Yeah. It's hard because the Beckhams have always had this like super curated image. Like they have been on top of everything. I mean, I keep coming back to the baby pictures, but it's like such a perfect example of it. Like they knew it was going to be a story, so they made it a story. And I think the reason that this like feud is so juicy and irresistible is because honestly, like I was not super up to date until like I followed along, but I just kind of thought it was all speculation and all rumors. And so the fact that he like primary source, he posted about it, I just feel like that blows everything wide open. And it's like not beneath them, but it's just something very reality TV, very influencer, very new that he thinks that he owes like this explanation where like his parents and his family would never talk about this in the press if they didn't have to, you know?
Yeah. And it's also just to your point, just real, it's very relatable. You know, I mean, like so much of the story isn't relatable. You're having, you know, billionaires and ultra rich people fighting over like, you know, incredibly famous interior designers, but like just family drama, right? Or just having two versions of the same story, you know, and I think we all relate to that. And it's like the kind of the hyperbolic response and when you feel it is so relatable for all of us. And to see a family like the Beckhams, it's like, oh, them too. Like they're,
too.
You know.
I mean, girlfriend versus mother-in-law is like the oldest story in the book. It's like we have monster-in-law, the ancient text of monster-in-law with J-Lo. So it is that it's relatable. So it's sad. It's like a really big bummer, I feel like, because David Beckham especially has like built his like whole brand on being like a family guy and like whatever, like they are like the it family. And now it's like everything is not as it seems, which we should assume that of everyone, but it's just interesting to see it all laid so bare on Instagram.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it does make me sad because it's like you, I mean, thanks for the entertainment, but like you definitely didn't need to post about this, you know?
Yeah. Right. And on the story, not even a grid post.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, this will be gone in 24 hours.
And he must have known. I mean, like to me, the most fascinating part is like the mother-son dance. Because what does inappropriate mean? Yeah. I mean, what would have my mom had to have done at our wedding for you to have been like, that's fucked up? You know?
She would have had to like upside down twerk on you or something crazy. Like,
know?
it would be like, what is going on? That is so inappropriate.
I mean, but like, I think we both cried. I mean, we embraced. It was heartfelt. It was sincere. Like
Yeah.
there was a true connection there with me and my mom.
But
And
it
I'm
does,
just-
like, that word makes your mind wonder
Yeah.
and like makes you go,
Yeah.
And he said that about his mom. I think I saw it was like a tweet or something where it's just like, it was critical of Brooklyn and Nicola, where it's like these two are an example of, you know, kids who are basically very privileged, where inconvenience is seen as trauma, where it's just like, I have no doubt that Victoria and David at times their expectations might not meet reality. You know, it's like that. No doubt they're clearly how are you not a little out of touch if you're David and Victoria, right? To some degree.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like this is coming from a perspective of a kid who was driving a car where only 6 were made in the world. And he's just out there rolling around, just like changing his career every week until it lands. Like that's the perspective he's coming from. Like that's not normal, you know? And I feel like maybe their biggest crime is like buying him all these watches and cars and things and supporting, you know, all of his dreams. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like it's leading to some sort of Hulu doc or
for sure.
like there's something in the works for it all to be spiraling and turning into this avalanche now. You know, if this has been happening for years, it makes me think of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle before their Oprah interview. Like maybe that's what they were hoping the response would be, but instead everyone just like really wants to see the video of Victoria dancing.
Fascinating stuff. Where do you think things go next, Carsen?
Like I said, I feel like some sort of docuseries or a book is coming. I also think if the Beckhams do put out a statement, it will be totally like reconciliatory, them trying to mend things. But now we know that we never really know what's going on behind the scenes. So there's no telling, really. I don't know if they'll ever fix it.
Well, Carsen, we really appreciate you taking the time. Carsen Holaday, everybody, from The Independent. Can you please let my audience know where they can follow you and enjoy all your great work?
Yes. Follow along with my stories on The Independent. My name is Carsen Holaday, and you can follow me on Instagram at Carsen Online.
Amazing.
Carsen Holaday is such a
Thank
cool
you.
name.
That is a good name.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Your mom really crushed it. Carsen Holaday, everybody. I appreciate you taking the time, Carsen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you guys.
Likewise.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Fascinating stuff. I'm convinced that when Victoria and David read this, they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, inappropriate
Yeah.
at the wedding? Huh?
Yeah. I think I'm just dying to see the dance. I think it's crazy that she did what like calling the dance out. And was it before the first dance? Is that what happened? She had the first dance before the two of them had their first dance?
Yeah, Nicola was supposed to do it, but then they announced the most beautiful woman in the room.
No, that's sick and twisted. That is
that big of a deal?
But it was like, is that Victoria's fault or is that Mark Anthony's fault?
No,
Like,
that's
if Mark
true.
Anthony's supposed to be performing the song that Victoria is dancing with him to and not performing their actual first dance, why is Mark Anthony on stage?
I will say,
Fire your
yeah,
wedding planner.
I was gonna say this sounds more like a wedding planner issue than, and maybe it's everyone's issue. But I will say, like, the wedding planner runs the day, and I'm all for a surprise at a wedding, but to put that dance up before the first dance is crazy, and I feel
That
like
is
that's
crazy.
on the wedding planner for sure, because I've worked weddings, and I'm like, nothing should be happening, and if something starts, the wedding planner should be the first person to be like, we're not doing that, move things around.
I don't believe there is a wedding planner in this world who would tell Victoria Beckham to sit down.
Maybe Mark Anthony though.
Yeah, but do you really think Victoria or David was like, hey, listen, Mark, you have to say she's the most
Brooklyn
beautiful.
wrote, my mom hijacked my first dance with my wife, which had been planned weeks in advance, to a romantic love song. In front of our 500 wedding guest, Mark Anthony called me to the stage where in the schedule was planned to be my romantic dance with my wife, but instead my mom was waiting to dance with me instead. She danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone. I've never felt more uncomfortable or humiliated in my entire life.
I mean, that's such a
That's a good
strong
point. Yeah,
statement.
so there's rehearsals and stuff,
But,
so
like,
they knew the order.
There's also footage of them dancing at their after party all together. And I'm just like, it's just, I mean, and I'm not saying that like, I'm like humiliated, Like, I'm just like, I don't know. The whole thing is just like seems very exaggerated after the fact.
Here's the thing. I can relate to Brooklyn Beckham because I, as the daughter of a pastor, at 12 years old, used to have to be the only child to go up for the children's message. And it was one of the most embarrassing things in my life. And so it's hard for me to, not have empathy for him.
Maybe it is the most embarrassing moment of his life, but most of his moments of his life include, like, the ultra rich and famous supporting his photography book and saying it's like a work of art. When he's just like, the captions of the book are.
Yeah.
Nick was showing them to me, and I was like, well, he wasn't claiming to be a writer. He was.
Wild. It's wild
his
stuff.
Photography book.
I have a solution to all of this. I think we can just all agree it was a big miscommunication. Like, I think there's a world where, like, the whole dance thing, it was like someone stall. The planner was like, okay, Mark Anthony stall. And he was like, I'm friends with Victoria. Victoria. And then all of a sudden she's like, okay, let's dance.
Yeah. I actually don't think you're wrong. Like, I don't know. I would love to hear what actually happened. I would love for the wedding planner to speak up because it actually would be very telling. But it does feel like it could have been a miscommunication or an overlook. And maybe it's, she didn't have the whereabouts to be like, hey, maybe I shouldn't hijack this moment.
Sure, but it's also the namesake of it all too, where it's like his final closing is, I do not want to reconcile with my family. I'm not being controlled. I'm standing up for myself for the first time in my life. I wake up every morning grateful for the life I chose and have found peace and relief. My wife and I do not want a life shaped by image, press, manipulation. All we want is peace, privacy, happiness for us and our future family. Then drop the Beckham name.
Don't put it on Instagram stories.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't talk about it. Don't bring it to
Get rid of your trust fund.
Yeah, like if you don't
redistribute it.
If you don't want anything to do with this family anymore, like I'm just like, it's just interesting to me that it's like the whole namesake thing is being brought up in his Instagram story, but then it's like you guys have no problem hyphenating and using the benefits of being a Beckham.
And I think, if that's what they want, then I'm like, I think we give it to them. I'm like, if you really just want privacy from
And
this
peace.
point forward, we've chatted about it, and I'm like, you do you.
It is kind of, I don't know, never met Nicola, never met Victoria. I did meet David once, and he was delightful. Anyway, back to Kyle and Amanda. Sad news.
Sad news,
Sad.
but not surprised. But like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I always support Kyle and Amanda no matter what, because it's like Amanda's choice. But if Amanda's down with Kyle, so am I.
I kind of
Whatever
feel the
Amanda
same way.
says.
Whatever Amanda says goes.
Overall, I hate to see any relationship end. Regardless, I think it's so sad. I mean, breakups are difficult and hard, and when it comes to public relationships, clearly this was something that had been ongoing. There was speculation about like people not seeing them wear the ring. From what I know about these types of relationships, the announcement always comes long after the actual relationship between the two people are decided it ends. Because like, listen, there's a lot of like that goes into it. How do we tell people? There's people want to emotionally like get through it before they have to announce it to the world, which I think is more than understandable and fair. And also, question to you guys, I'm curious, when they ask for their right to privacy, which I personally think they have the right to ask for, does that make it, again, even right now, almost kind of inappropriate for us to discuss? Or what kind of privacy do you think is it? Or we shouldn't be like trying to dig for more information, but like simply discussing the breakup in general is kind of okay.
I think it's that they put out a public statement, so of course people are going to talk about it. I think it's just like, don't dive deeper. You don't need to like post things on Kyle or Amanda's post being like, got you queen, or like, fuck you,
Sure.
man. Like, you know, it's like, or trying to figure out what, when and why. And, I think it's that where it's like, that's none of our business. But we're like,
It seems as if they kind of saw what happened with Paige and Craig and kind of intentionally wanted to like,
I just think that people were reading into it a lot, because I remember, I think it was a couple weekends ago, Kyle had a concert in Canada and he got to the airport, got through security, didn't have his passport. And then people were like, tell me you're separated because you don't have your passport.
Yeah.
People noticed the rings were missing. So I'm just like, I think there's also like a lot of speculation. You also have Summer House starting in a couple of weeks.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, this is a couple that prior to the end of their relationship would lean in to speculation about the relationship all around the time where the next season of Summer House was coming out. And then you have this announcement that goes out, and then we're watching Bravo, and then all of a sudden I was like, coming soon, a new season of Summer House. And I was like, and it's like, and then they have the their other new show, their spin-off
In the
show.
City.
The city one, yeah.
I mean, their timing incredible.
Well done.
But again, curious. So let's assume that was in a way planned. Do you fault them for that? Because let's assume that the separation, they didn't decide to separate last weekend, right? If we agree on that, do we fault them for at least being like, all right, well, if we're going to announce it, we might as well announce it when
I feel like it's like if they're separated, maybe they're not wearing rings, maybe they're living separately, don't know. But like those are the things that maybe they just were like, we don't want to have to hide this stuff right now. And like, so let's just say, tell everyone that we're separated, ask for our privacy, which I agree that they're 100% allowed to do. I think it's so weird that people, like when people go through tough times, for them to like not be allowed privacy just because they've shared majority of their life. It's like you want them to also share, like going through this with you. So it makes sense that they ask for the privacy. But yeah, I feel like maybe they just were like, people are going to continue to speculate and it's just easier for us to tell.
I also wonder if it has anything to do with the network as well, because I remember after season 2 or 3 of Vanderpump Rules, when Kristen and Tom split up, they did Watch What Happens Live while the show was airing, and they were broken up, but like pretended as if they were still a couple and didn't announce their breakup until like the season aired. So I'm like, there's also something to where, spoilers, or, we obviously know that Kyle sleeps at a fan's house. So
I think sometimes we often forget that these people, certainly there's a lot of benefits. They're famous, they got all these opportunities, but like, I do think we should be grateful and thankful for all the people who go on these shows and share the mess of their lives. I don't think we're entitled to it. And I do think they have the right to pick and choose. And I'm wishing them both the best. I hope they both get through this. And I wish them both success and happiness going forward.
R.I.P. Mr. Batula.
Before we get to our big guest, Reza, we did have an episode of Potomac, and I think the biggest story of this episode was we had Mauricio, ex of Kyle Richards.
Can we talk about how Mauricio is just like the Bravo darling, because he's now been mentioned, if not in 3 shows?
He's the gigolo.
Yeah.
It's like, just throw him on screen with the women and we'll be good.
He gave Mercedes a job.
Kyle's not too happy about it. What did she have to say about it, Justin?
Well, I mean, basically she did what Giselle said was going to happen, but Kyle said she hasn't seen the scene yet. But if Ashley did flirt with Mauricio, that would be weird, and that she would never date anybody else that was in the housewife world, which is literally what the women were saying in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
She also claimed that like he just bumped into them, which is, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Like, you signed a release, you agreed to be mic'd, which is fine, but like...
He was probably there and was like, oh yeah, I'll do a scene.
Right.
Yeah.
She said if Ashley did flirt, it's kind of embarrassing for Ashley. Listen, I think it's all fine, whatever, but shouldn't you be more critical of your ex? Isn't it a little thirsty for him to agree to be a part of this episode?
I mean, you could tell from the scene that like he was not in that scene to be like, oh, I'm flirting with someone.
I'm
He was just
thinking
like,
I'm a housewife,
hi,
yeah.
like, nice to see you guys. Yeah, I am in Aspen. Like, I'm always here. Like, but then it was the Ashley and Stacey side of it that was like, go talk to him.
Corner
Like, you should
him.
flirt
Oh
with
my
him.
God,
Okay, fair enough.
Stacey
Yeah.
ate in that though.
No,
that
just-
was real
no,
as fuck.
Giselle ate when she said, Ashley would take him in a second. And she's like, wait, what's your, not Ashley, what's your name? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, Giselle.
Also, you can tell Kyle has not watched Potomac, because I'm like, it is also not. Ashley is the least furthest from embarrassed with flirting with your husband.
Yeah, no.
She hooked up with her friend's son.
That's her whole thing.
Yeah.
And Giselle being like, I'm not gonna flirt with him, but if I was gonna flirt with anybody, it would be Mauricio. I'm like, yeah.
She is a real one for
Get
that.
it, diva. Yeah.
Kyle did say that Giselle texted her right away, and Kyle and Giselle are on Ultimate Girls Trip, Ultimate Road Trip, which is filming, started in Newport. We've been seeing that everywhere.
I cannot wait.
This is like the Royal Rumble of housewives. How many housewives do we have?
I think it was 60
60
plus.
plus.
60
It's our
plus.
Marvel. It's our Avengers.
Endgame, the portals.
I'm so glad that they're giving it the celebration it needs.
Yeah. I mean, it's changed the world.
No, truly.
Literally.
So, I mean, like, imagine if you're not invited.
Oof.
But also, I feel like some of these women have been on screen for 20 years? I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
and then Lisa, I feel like, is probably the newest. I mean, 6, right? 6 seasons, 6 years.
Yeah.
So I wonder how she'll do, like, with
some
Teresa
true
G.
vets.
Dice.
Some true vets.
Some true vets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are excited to see it all unfold. All right, up next, we have Reza from the Valley Persian Style, an interview I am very excited for you to listen to because I'm a huge fan of his. He is up next. When your company is growing fast, order fulfillment can make or break your success. ShipStation's intelligence-driven platform brings order management, rate, shopping, inventory, and returns, warehouse systems, and comprehensive analytics all in one place, saving customers 15 hours per week on order fulfillment. If you are running any kind of business and you are shipping products to your customers, you gotta check out ShipStation. We have been using ShipStation for years now, and we are so glad that we do at NV Media. You wanna make sure that all your customers have great insight and information. You wanna give better customer service. You also wanna save on shipping. And heck, if you are shipping your products, you know that shipping costs are some of your highest costs to run your business. Well, ShipStation compares rates all across all major carriers like USPS, UPS, and FedEx, and you can get some of the most insane discounts that are usually afforded to some of the biggest companies with discounts up to 90% off. You heard me right, 90% off. How can you beat that? It also seamlessly integrates with pretty much any e-commerce platform. Try ShipStation for 60 days. With full access to all the features, no credit card needed. Go to ShipStation.com and use code VIALL for 60 days for free. 60 days gives you plenty of time to see exactly how much time and money you're saving on every shipment. That's ShipStation.com, code VIALL. ShipStation.com, code VIALL. Reza, welcome to the show. Super excited to have you.
I'm so excited to finally be here.
Finally.
Thank you so much.
Really enjoying the Valley Persian Style. Personally, you're my favorite on the show. No disrespect to the rest of your castmates. I find you fun, delightful. Everything you say is funny. It's been really great to watch.
That's literally the best compliment you could ever give me. Thank you so much.
What, yeah, I mean, what has this been like, kind of?
I have
yeah.
a question.
Okay.
What's different
That's
between
okay.
Shaw's
Yeah, okay.
and the Valley?
I mean, Shaw's was like a different era. We were popping bottles. We've outgrown that. It's like Adam and I are gunkles now. MJ and Golnessa have kids. All of
Yeah.
our friends have kids. We're in this very kind of suburban established lifestyle, which very much suits like my temperament and where I'm at in my life.
Yeah, you and Adam seem to represent the healthy couple in this group of friends. Is that something that you're, excited about, or do you imagine that you and Adam maybe in future seasons will peel back some layers and see a little drama, or are you and Adam just pretty much drama free?
Honestly, we went through all the drama on Shaws of Sunset.
Yeah.
I go to therapy and have been for 20 years. We do nightly check-ins with one another.
Yes, y'all
So
do.
his temperament is very calm and consistent. If we have problems, they're usually my fault. So I try and control myself and like use the proverbial pressure relief valve that is on my body to like get the toxins out so I don't bring the problems into our marriage.
Healed king, literally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, shout out to therapy.
For sure.
You also seem to be like the voice of reason this season. Whether it comes to Gigi or when Greg and Tanner are talking about their relationship, you always seem to have some sage advice. Have you always been that person, or is this a result of years of therapy and self-reflection?
I think it's a combination of both, Nick. I definitely, when it comes to like finances, I was raised by like a Persian Jew that told me you don't pay rent, you don't charge things on your credit card that you can't pay off. Interest, payments are for idiots, you don't overspend, live within your means. And so when my friends are making moves and I'm getting the same check they're getting, my advice is going to be don't spend 10K
Yeah.
on rent and you're going to leave this house and have nothing to show for it.
Right.
And I've been married for 10 years. I came from a broken home, so I work on my marriage and I try and give out advice and help the ones I love.
That's amazing. How did you? I'm always fascinated by reality TV in general. I've been a part of it, but it's often not kind to relationships. Did you and Adam, when you embarked on the Valley, have any conversations about like, hey, we got a really good thing going here. We've done a lot of work on us. how do we make sure we don't let TV and how they, it's like it's all about the drama. How do you guys go about protecting what you guys have while still like giving us the great TV that you're giving us?
Great question. We used to get into blowouts before we would start filming Shaws of Sunset. Like, I vividly remember telling him, "You get on a freaking show. When you're on the show and the show is about you, we'll do what you." And this is Shaws. But this, working with Alex Baskin and 32 Flavors, it's a completely different jam. Production reaches out directly to Adam. He feels like he's heard and respected. And that has made the complete like 180 of how we used to fight with Shaws. And now he feels heard, respected, and his opinion matters. And I love that about this new way of making reality TV.
That's amazing.
We're obviously watching a lot of Mercedes and Tommy's relationship kind of start to crumble. We obviously know that she's filed for divorce or they are divorced. But there seems to be like a huge rift between you and Tommy, so much so that like he doesn't come into events. He's dropping her off. He's not coming in. What is kind of your side of all of that?
So when Shaw's ended, MJ and I were not in a great place with one another, and we weren't so involved in one another's lives. And she and Tommy were separate from me. So they were doing their own thing. I wasn't privy to it. MJ and I started working on our friendship really slowly. Cameras were down. So there was not an incentive of like, oh, we want to film, so let's repair our friendship. We did it very organically over time, very slowly, and we got to a really great place. And I was like, is your husband still very angry? And she would paint a picture that was way rosier about him and about their marriage. And so I assumed things were a lot better than they were. And so when she finally started opening up to me about what was really going on in her life, I was really sad for her because that's not what she was, projecting outwardly. And it just made me very sad. And listen, I respect where he's at. It seems like he might be stuck a little bit. I would be like, okay, well, maybe if my wife is cool, maybe I can try and get cool-ish. I don't need to like kick it with him, but maybe I can get to a place where I can show up for my wife.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're right. It only creates more and more tension. We saw early this season this footage of Tommy
Oh yeah.
coming into
Breaking
your backyard
plants.
and like really taking it out on your garden
Yeah.
in an aggressive way. And he kind of said something like, well, he should just be glad he's not there because I didn't come to beat up plants. I came to beat up Reza. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But what was that all about? And I'm sorry. I just thought that was crazy behavior of Tommy.
very
just
jarring.
jarring. It's just
Yeah.
first of all, yeah, maybe you came to confront him, but he wasn't there. And so what? You just chose to vandalize his property? Also, like, probably it's something you could have pressed charges if you wanted to. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I mean, we did kind of.
Oh,
wow.
okay.
We ended up calling the police, and she and I
Fair enough.
fell out with one another, and she told her husband, and that was his reaction to it, which, was really hard. He scared us.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that he was saying about being from the streets and the way he handles conflict resolution really scared Adam and I, because I'd never been in a situation like that where someone showed up, and it was really sad. Looking back
Yeah.
on it, when they do those flashbacks, it's
Yeah.
really heartbreaking for me to see that stuff.
Are you surprised at all by the dynamics of MJ and Tommy's relationship? Because obviously you haven't been around them in a long time. Like seeing their relationship play out during the show. Like,
You know what was really hard for me to see was when Tommy and Vita had a sit down, and Vita was trying to let him know that maybe there's some cracks in their relationship. Culturally, for us, when the matriarch of the family is saying something to you, as someone who respects their elders, I would have said, you know what, this is hard for me to hear. I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good, but I'll take it under advisement. I love your daughter. I'm going to make things right. And to watch his reaction was sad. It just, all of it is so sad for me because she's got this like glazed over look in her eyes. She doesn't have like the joy in her life.
Right.
And I felt sad. It all made me really, really sad. And then ultimately, obviously she's filed for divorce, which is also sad, but I appreciate her wanting different for herself.
Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Where do you and MJ stand today?
We're rock solid. I actually
Awesome.
I have a listing in Silver Lake. I had like 20 buyers hit me up wanting to buy the property through me. And so I referred her one of the buyers and I was like, hey, can you handle this person? And she literally was at my listing doing a showing so I could be here.
I love her so much. I
Yeah.
met her at a Crystal Minkoff's party last year, and me and her just immediately hit it off. She's got this personality that's like intoxicating. She's just so easy to talk to, and she's such a like fun person to be around. So I'm a
Yes,
huge
she
fan of
is.
MJ. I am curious, how much were you involved in like making the Valley Persian Style come to be? Because you've been teasing it for a long time.
So I was actually in London shooting the worst cooks in America, which is airing right now. And Alex Baskin called me and was thank you. He was like, hey, what do you think about doing like a retooled, rekindled like version of Shaw's with some of your other friends? And I was like, with you, I am so down. Like, let's effing go.
Yeah.
And once the process started, everyone in production was like, refer your friends that are organically in your circle. And so we started giving names. They started talking to our friends. And literally, that's how the cast came together. So we were very involved in putting the group together.
Yeah, it really does seem like all of y'all genuinely hang out all the time.
Yeah.
Does
There's
it-
one
it really-
couple that I really don't hang out with that much just because I like them in very micro.
That's Sky
I like
and
to
Bam.
Microdose them.
I like micro dosing them. Yeah.
That's very LA.
Yes, Nick.
Okay. Michelle and Jesse, Valley season 1, they come in as a married couple.
Mhm.
And season 1 was really kind of about their unwinding and then the subsequent divorce. Obviously, MJ and Tommy, we know about them. But it really seems like the other 3 relationships, whether it's Greg and Tannen and Amir and Natasha or Sky and Bam, they all have kind of opened up about like, you got Sky and Bam not sleeping in the same bedroom.
Neither are Greg.
Greg's out there
Yeah.
texting, at 2 a.m., which was your line was great, in terms of things that are what happens after midnight.
Dick, hoo-ha, drugs,
Money.
like nothing, things that are very R-rated and X-rated happen at those hours.
Do you suspect there could be more separations outside of MJ and Tommy with these other couples going forward?
I love to gamble. I'm like, put me in a casino and I'm gambling. So as a gambling man, my money would be, if someone asked me, on S-Guy and Bumsy. Because she literally, any moment, any opportunity to throw his butt under the bus, and she's there for it. Oh, he didn't get the bartender. He didn't come through. I'm like, girl, you got 4 people in your backyard and you're serving champagne and white wine. What was the bartender going to do other than take up space in your little small backyard? Nothing. Like, get over it. We know you're trying to look fancy for the cameras.
And where were the 80 people?
Yeah. Where were the 80 people?
I don't even know. First of all, I don't think she has 80 friends. And second of all, her yard can't accommodate 80 people. Sorry, boo. Maybe once you get to Bel Air.
I really did appreciate
yeah,
that
she just
scene
wants to
though.
move
And
to
as a married man, Reza, I'm curious about your point of view. But like that whole conversation about like husband and wife, in terms of, I like a strong woman, right? Like Natalie expects a lot of me. I love that, and it's just that the nuance of a couple in terms of, when you drop the ball, you say you're going to do something, you don't do it, your partner gets frustrated. That's fair. But, then there's the other side of it. It's just like, aren't we allowed to like fuck up once in a while? Can I get a pat on the back? Can I get like a little appreciation?
He 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 can't catch a break. And she savors like she's biting into a juicy steak. It's so toxic. It's such a turn off. And I'm like, where are your testicles, bro? Like, say something to her. And then I remember he's not even sleeping in the same bed. So he doesn't say anything. He just takes it.
Maybe that's why,
Yeah,
though.
it made me sad when he was like, one of my favorite things to do is to wake up and see my wife's face. And it was like, oh, that's sad. You know?
I mean,
He
that's
doesn't
sweet.
wanna-
When that's your wife, that's very kind.
Do you think Greg's a good husband?
So Greg is very unique. I love Greg. I've known Greg and Tanning for a very long time. He makes off-colored remarks, very inappropriate jokes. He's literally ADHD. If someone is telling a story that's longer than 14 seconds, his mind is wandering. He can't focus. And he is just that guy who, like, if a girl comes up to him and says, "Hey, we're in town, like, what's cool and fun to do?" He'll be like, "Doo doo doo doo, like, here's my number," like, and she'll text him at 2 a.m. So his intentions are good. His execution and delivery and come through are ugh.
Were you shocked by Tannen's reaction to the Porsche? It was like, oh, thanks.
That would be my similar reaction if our lease was up and then we got another Porsche that we were going to get anyway. Like, it's like we had a white one and you took it back and you brought home a rosé colored one and there's a ribbon on it. Like, thanks. Like,
return it.
We were going to do this anyway, weren't we?
Yeah,
Like,
we needed a car, like.
I think the bow was part of like maybe TV land
For the
but
cameras.
the car was gonna happen anyway. I feel like
Okay, got it. That makes sense.
That-
What was Gigi smoking weed in Sky's backyard as like big of a deal as it seemed, or no?
so. If you know Golnessa, you know she's gonna smoke weed. It's just what she does. We were outside. There was a film crew there. There were no kids in sight. And other people partook in the weed. And I don't want to like put her on blast, but maybe S-Guy was one of those people. Like,
But she might have been blasted.
Yeah, she
Like,
probably just
girl.
forgot because she was high.
no, literally, she likes finding little opportunities to come and check you. Like, she revels in it. It's her turn on. She loves it. Like, let me talk to you. You did something I didn't like it.
Did you buy any of her jewelry at the trunk show?
Oh my God, I love that you're asking this so much. And I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this. I'm gonna get in trouble. I know it.
Say it.
Okay.
Twist my
so hard to
arm.
convince him.
So that trunk show happened in and around the time of my husband's birthday. And so I walked over and I saw this little charm, and I'm a jewelry hoe. Like, you can't really
Wow.
see, but
Stacks.
like for a
Stacks,
man,
yes.
I wear a lot of jewelry. I collect jewelry. I've gotten my husband into jewelry, and we're at someone's trunk show. Like, I was raised right.
Yes.
You buy something. It's your friend. You're supposed to like support their business. I walk over to the table. I see this little charm. I don't ask how much it is. And I said, "Hey, I'll take that for Adam's birthday." Cut to S-Guy sells it later to someone else.
Oh no.
So I didn't end up getting it, which actually was a blessing in disguise once I found out how expensive it
How
was.
much was it?
It was like ridiculously overpriced, like close to $4,000 for like
Is it this big? Like a little
Oh.
charm?
my
tiny,
gosh.
tiny little charm. So I ended up going to David Yurman and buying him a charm and a chain
Nice.
and making
Very-
up for it.
Beautiful.
Well, I mean, was there actually something wrong with Golnessa's ring when she got it back? When she was like,
1,000%. So
There
I
was.
looked at the ring. Oh, so there was a hole there. She put a stone in, and it still looked like the hole was there even in. The color was off. The clarity was weird. It did not get repaired to a level that I would think a jeweler who like she shouldn't have been doing jewelry. She should have said, you know what? I don't know how to repair stuff. It's
Mhm.
not in my wheelhouse. And given her the ring back immediately instead of keeping it for a year and then putting invisible stones in there.
Golden seems to be made for reality TV, and that scene with her ex-husband / best friend was really fascinating. But like, do you think she's really hard on herself when it comes to relationship, or do you think like many of us, like she just maybe has a bad picker and just hasn't found her person yet?
She definitely has a bad picker, and her temperament, she gets irritated very quickly. So if you're around her too long, she's gonna get irritated. So having maybe someone who lives in another country, maybe someone who's bi-coastal,
Long distance.
long distance, yes. Like she is not gonna be okay with any human that is around 24/7.
In your opinion, how has Gonessa grown and changed since we last saw her on Shaw's?
So she's definitely, although it doesn't maybe come across so much so in the beginning because she's looking for a place to live and needing to spend a boatload of money, she has become way, way, way more responsible. She has a son who she loves and adores, and she dedicates herself as a mother in a way that I'm just floored and so impressed by her. She's a very great mom. She's definitely much more focused on providing for her child, even though she rented a $10,000 house. She's very focused on generating more money to be able to afford the lifestyle because, like, your parents aren't always going to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and $4,000 a month on weed is
A lot.
It's a lot, but
of money.
imagine her without the weed.
Yeah, about that.
She would. Did you see the fist she was making when she was at that scene with Dennis? Like
She said, "I need to feel
scared.
pain."
Yeah. That was such a.
Amazing.
I mean,
Literally through the TV, I was scared.
Yeah, I was too.
no, I was like, she's a killer. You know,
Let her
Yeah.
rip.
not on a literal, but like, yeah, don't mess with,
Yeah.
don't mess with Gigi. Well, I'm sure you watched the episodes. You're a fan. Were you as frustrated by what felt like the unnecessary scene between Reza and the random girl that showed up to the dinner party? And it was like, then we watched them go on a date, and then it was like, we're broken up. And I was like, well, why did I
dodged a
just
bullet.
why that whole date? Are we gonna see her in the future, or like what was up with that?
He was very into her. And it seemed like a match made in heaven when I was there with them. And then Reza Jax really tried. He really tried with her. And I think everyone had super high hopes. But I mean, she turned out to be a little bit of a lemon. So it was like, what are we going to do? He literally was like buying Beyonce tickets. He was trying to
Aw.
step up.
Wow.
It just like fizzled really fast.
Oh wow.
Yeah, him being like, and I dodged a bullet.
Reza, something I would love to ask you about, if it's okay with you, and I know we typically don't get into like geopolitical events and things like that, but with the uprising that's going on in Iran, obviously you're a part of the Persian culture, and so much of this show talks about that culture. I'm curious if you could share any insight to what is going on.
So we came here on a vacation, Nick, right before the revolution started. And if any of you saw the movie Argo,
Yeah.
I grew up in America at the time of the hostage crisis. So my
wow.
parents would be dropping me off at kindergarten, and the other parents would be side-eyeing my parents like, are your relatives the ones holding those hostages at the embassy? And we fell in love with our adopted country, assimilated, and really like excelled as a group of people who had no language skills, no money, and came here with 4 suitcases. And my people have been oppressed, and they've been ruled over by a death cult for 47 years, and they're sick of it. And I'm praying to God that they get the freedom that they deserve. That religious dictatorship has to end. Women are killed for showing their hair.
Wow.
It is so oppressive. I literally have nightmares. I used to have a recurring nightmare that somehow I ended up in Iran. And one of the things I'm most proud of, because my parents are from 2 different religions, and they're from the wrong side. In Islam, your dad has to be Muslim for you to be Muslim. And in Judaism, your mom has to be Jewish for you to be Jewish. And my mom is Muslim and my dad is Jewish. So I fell into a gray area with no religion, and I was gay. So I felt like I had no tribe other than I'm a Leo. I was born on this date. You cannot take that away from me. Like, if no one's going to accept me, the Leos will. Like, I'm born on August 5th.
Yes.
So in this nightmare, I'm in Iran. I don't know how I got there. And I'm dying of HIV. I'm at a hospital, and the doctor's like, "Oh,
gosh.
by the way, when you went to America, they translated your birth certificate incorrectly. You're not a Leo, you're a Virgo." And in this nightmare, I'm walking around Iran, dying of HIV, and the only thing I'm crying about is, I'm a Virgo? Like, my whole life, this one group who I thought I was part of, they took that away from me too. So Iran scares the living daylights out of me.
gosh.
I feel like I'm from the equivalent of North Korea, and I have not slept since the uprisings started in Iran. And my prayers and my thoughts, physically, I'm here with you guys, but my head and my heart are with the people of Iran, and I pray that they get freedom.
Well said, and I appreciate you sharing that perspective, and our thoughts and prayers are going out to the whole country as well. Reza, this has been such a fun interview. Congratulations on a hit show. We're excited to see.
Oh, and I have a book coming out I want to
You have a
plug
book?
real quick before
Plug,
I go.
yeah.
whatever.
Ooh,
You plug
let's
your book,
see.
plug your Instagram, plug away.
I have a new memoir. It's called Memoirs of a Geisha.
I love it.
I love that.
So
and
clever.
it's just all about where I come from and how I got here. And it's from birth to the Valley Persian Style. Literally, all of it is in this book. Comes out April 7th, but you can pre-order it now.
We will put the link for the pre-order in the link in our bio, so you can support Reza and buy this book. Also, Reza, where can people follow you on social?
At Reza Farahan on X and Instagram and TikTok.
Reza, thanks for the time, man. Sorry we didn't get to
guys.
see you in person, but come
to
back,
come back,
visit us
yeah.
anytime.
I would
Hopefully
love
we maybe we get the chance to meet Adam and out in some event and hang out.
We're in the
but-
valley too.
Yeah, we're in the
so-
valley, so we're neighbors.
Yay.
basically.
We look
Let's do
forward
it.
to it. Thank you guys for having me. This was a blast. Appreciate all of you.
You're the best, Reza. Thanks for your time. And thank you guys for listening. Thanks to Reza for being our guest, along with Carsen Holaday, to help us talk about all the Beckham family drama. Do not forget to check out our Going Deeper episode with Angie K, out now. And be sure to check out Viall Files Plus if you haven't already. We will see you next week. Bye-bye. Hey guys, if you loved what you listened to, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.